Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Another exciting show, another exciting guest. Today we're going to go all the way to Vegas. We've been going to Vegas quite a bit. That must be something in the universe is telling me I need to pack up, do like the Beverly Hillbillies, instead of move to California, go to Vegas, because that's where all the new talent is. But let's talk about exactly what kind of talent is coming out of Vegas. How about a young girl, 15 years old, her musical journey, but did I say she's 15 years old? And she's setting Vegas on fire. Damn. I wish I could turn back the hands of time when I was 15 years old and I was singing. But my voice cracked during the middle of a Michael Jackson song, got to be there, and singing was truly out of the question then. But it's not out of the question for this beautiful young girl. All the way from Vegas, let's welcome the future Grammy Award winner, Zoe Johnson. What's up, Zoe?
Hello. How are you feeling?
Notice I already gave you the Grammy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm taking that with me.
You're 15 years old. You're definitely a star on the horizon. People are paying close attention to you and your musical journey career. But at 15 years old, is it really a musical journey, or is it right now, is it just fun? So before we get into that, tell the viewers a little bit about who you are.
Hello, everybody. My name is Zoe Johnson. I am a new upcoming artist out here in Vegas. I am 15 years old, as he said before. And yeah, I would just like to talk about my process in music and how I got started.
How did you get started? Because it didn't start. Wait a minute. Hold on. It didn't start in Vegas. It started somewhere in Maryland.
Started in Maryland.
Yeah, let's start back there. Tell me what it was like in Maryland.
Take it back.
Yeah.
It was different. I really enjoyed writing at the time, and I still do, but I really, really had a passion for writing, and I think that's where it comes from now. I don't know why. Like, I just would just write, and that's where I started writing music. I would start to write music, and it would just come from that. Like, I started to write music, and I was 9. I remember I was 9, and I was sitting in my bedroom, and I was writing, and I don't know why I was writing. I was just journaling, some things, and I just kept writing, and turned out to be some songs. And, I still have them in my notebook to this day upstairs.
What was the first thing that you wrote? Do you remember?
I think it's something new. I remember it a little bit. It's like something new, something new.
And that's how old? 9 years old?
Yes.
Okay.
And it just talks about change. And I feel like that really sticks because really things were changing. We out here in Vegas now. And it's been like 6 years. So really.
Do you come from a musical background, your family?
I do. Well, it hasn't been as like, it's not like musically like out there. Like that doesn't make sense. So for example,
okay,
my parents, like my mom, she can sing, but she hasn't like done anything like any, you know what I'm trying to say? Like shows, like performances, type of things like that. But she can sing. She can sing.
What about your dad?
My dad, he got a little bit there, but he got a little bit there.
Yeah. So you mentioned the writing creativity. When did you realize you're still 9 years old at this particular point when you first wrote those first lyrics? How did you know you had the gift to write? I mean, because it couldn't have just started at 9 years old. There had to be some what I call breadcrumbs along that pathway.
Yeah. It was really a interesting discovery, I guess. I really did enjoy English class, and like whenever we had the chance to write, I would just go for it. Like anytime we had to write, something about our week or our weekend, I would really like go all out in that. And I think it started honestly from that, but it's really hard to explain. I don't it's really hard. Like all I can remember really is just being in my room and being so determined to just write. Like I really, really did enjoy writing and enjoy writing about my life on paper and just like um, I guess telling my story
Hmm.
through writing. It's really hard to explain, but
Oh, I get it.
all I
You,
can
yeah,
really
it just
remember is
makes you feel
writing.
good to know that writing to you was another way of expression that any other
Right.
thing wasn't able to do. But
Hmm.
what was some of the, tell me what school was like for you at 9 years old? I mean, you got other topics. I used to be a school teacher, so I got to ask these questions. What were some of your other subjects that you liked outside of writing?
Outside of English, I like PE. I like because I do dance now as well, and I did dance. So I did love PE. I really like the parachute thing that we used to do. I really like that. Math, I couldn't get into it, and I still can't to this day.
Really? Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
when you recognize, when did you really recognize that you had a talent for writing? Because you just didn't go to your mom and say, okay, blah 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 blah, because most parents are going to be like, yeah, okay, okay, okay. When did it really
Yeah.
start to, when did it really start to evolve into a point in your life where you said, I'm going to take this seriously, I can really make this into something?
Oh, thank you for that idea. So I did write a children's book, and I think that's where it came through. My mom, she on the side, she's like, "You wrote a children's book," and I was like, "Yes, we did." So I think that's where it really came to play. That's where it really started.
So the children book
So
came in to about what age were you when you wrote the children book?
7, but I was 9 when I was starting to write. So
Hold
that's
down,
where it
hold
get
down,
that. So we going back farther.
hold down,
We
Zoe. This is
taking it back
crazy.
farther.
Okay, so you wrote a book at 7 years old, a children book.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, this is crazy. What was the name of the book?
Oh, what was the
You
name?
can ask your mom.
Daily Confessions for Kids. I'm like a whole mess right now. My brain is like,
So
let me
what brought that book
relax.
on? What was that book about? And at 7 years, you're blowing my mind. At 7 years old, I'm not thinking about writing a book. I'm trying to see how many annihilators I could put in my pocket, how many Skittles, I can ride my bicycle. You writing
Mhm.
a book. What was that book? What was the reason for writing it, and what was your mindset at that time? Do you remember?
Yes. So me and my mom, we would say daily confessions every day. Just confessions, positive affirmations every day. And we still do to this day. Every morning before I go to school or before she goes to work, we would say our confessions. And it really we turned that into a book. We decided to be like, okay, so this is we want to we want to let other people and other mainly kids as well know, like, hey, like I don't start my day positively. I'm like so stumped right now. Like it just feels so great to be here. I'm like very excited, as you can tell. So, but
Just take your time. We're gonna have fun.
please take my time. All
So,
right.
what are some of the what are some of the affirmations that you were doing back then that you still resonate with to this day? Like, what are some of the most powerful affirmations that you and your mom both deal with every day? Because I think people need to understand that when you start to put out these affirmations into the world with yourself, um, you begin to manifest. And evidently, your mom was teaching you, or you begin to understand the power of affirmation and manifestation at such a young age. But what are some of the things that, what are some of the most powerful affirmations that you still use today?
Uh, okay.
Do I
All
need to
right.
put her on the, do I need to put her on here with you?
Yeah, you might need to come on here. You might need to come on here because she whispered from the sides. I'm like, all right. So, I'll just honestly say it for you. So we say, I'm successful. I'm walking out God's purpose for my life. Wealth and prosperity follow me all the days of my life. I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise, and no generational curses will take hold of my life. In Jesus' name, amen.
Damn, that's deep.
That's what we say every morning.
Wow, that's deep. I don't say that every morning, but I say at least 12 of them.
What?
But wow, that's my new one. I'm gonna have to alter that.
Mom said we could send you a book.
That's going to happen too. So let's keep
Mhm.
going with this beautiful story. So when did you actually begin to start homing in on your future craft? And the reason I'm saying future craft is because you're still 15 years old. You still have
Right.
so much ahead of you, and you're still learning. And with experience, you can only become even more greater at your craft. But now, at what age do you begin to home in on it, and what were some of the things that you started to do to prepare for that?
Right. So I feel more of 13 and 14. So it started at 9, but really took place 13 and 14 years old. And last year was my breakout year. Last year was the year I dropped my first song in February. So it took a while, but I was still patient. I still had my music. I still continued writing. And I have so many other songs that I haven't, dropped or released yet.
Hmm.
And just so many writings I have upstairs in my journal. But yeah, it really started 13, 14. That's when I actually met Mr. Rob. And shout out to Mr. Rob. He's my first producer. And you know, we came in. I don't how do we where did we meet him at, Mom? You remember? I can't remember where exactly we met him, but um he was able to help me carry out what I wanted to do. He gave me sets of beats and I was able to write with that. And, it just transformed into having 5 songs out today. So, you
What
know.
did you have to learn from people like Mr. Rob that you were lacking?
Mm. Um,
Because you're a writer. Let me rephrase it so it makes a little bit more sense. You're definitely a writer. We just had Nutbush, who wrote The Nutty Professor. Great writer, but he's also
mhm,
a great composer, a great musician, a great collaborator. You are an inspiring writer with extreme
mhm.
talent. So you meet Mr. Rob. What were you lacking in your development that you now look back and go, wow?
Ooh, this is a good question.
Did you expect anything less?
Not at all. I think I wasn't, I feel like I wasn't as prepared. Like I had no, like, my experience was different. Back in Maryland when I was just writing, I had no experience on, actually what the process would be like of releasing music and actually putting those uh things into place. So when I got there, when I was able to actually work on my first song, it was a little difficult. I feel like um I just had to learn the ways of yeah, putting a song together.
When
It
you
was
Go ahead,
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh no, you can go.
Like, what was it? What? How did you determine the right kind of beat to put with this song? Because when writers write, you got to hear that one particular beat. You're going to get 50 different beats from somebody like Mr. Bill, not Mr. Bill,
Right.
but Mr. Rob. Um,
Mhm.
there is an artist named Mr. Bill, which I will introduce you to him. He's actually one of Nutbush's artists, who is also a great writer. So he must be talking about me because I mentioned his name. But anyway, back to you. So Mr. Rob is giving you all of these beats and stuff. How
Mhm.
did you know which one was going to resonate and send the message to the words that you just wrote?
I think the way it came off, like I really like 90s R&B. So when I heard the beat, it's more of like a slow tone. It's still a little upbeat, but it's like a slow tone. It's vibey. Like I was moving when I heard it. I was like, oh, this the one. So
So you say the 90s.
mhm.
Who are some of your
I
favorite
love
artists? Who,
90s
who are some
music.
of your favorite artists, and why the 90s?
Aaliyah, most definitely. I love, 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 love Aaliyah. I really am inspired by her and I just love her music. Her as well. I love her rich tone.
Hmm.
Toni Braxton, of course. I really do admire her too. And a lot of people say I sound like her. I'm like, oh,
Who
do
do you,
I?
Who do you think you mimic your music out of? If you mentioned those two, but the '90s produced
Mhm.
a variety of great. I would think the '90s. Now that I'm thinking about it, the '90s was the emerging of beautiful R&B artists and R&B female artist groups at
I
that
agree.
particular time. So I can't think of another era that so many women came out and really produced a lot of music that people still play today. You're working closely with your mom and your dad in your career.
Mhm.
Who are you really trying to? I don't want to make this sound cliche. You mentioned Aaliyah and you mentioned Tony Braxton, but what's your niche? What is your sound?
My sound. Um, I carry, I'm trying to find my own lane because there are so many, different singers out here, but I do get inspiration from others, but I am trying to take that and also put it into my way, if that makes sense. Make my own sound,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. Um,
What do you
I
think your
don't,
sound is? I mean,
what
I
I
heard a
think.
little bit of your vocals, but what do you think your sound is? Like Aretha Franklin,
Hmm.
you know her when you hear her.
Right,
When you
right.
hear Tony Braxton, you know her when you hear her. It's like even Mariah Carey. You always going to recognize Mariah Carey for that high pitched scream. You'd be like, oh, that's Mariah. She may not be the greatest singer, but you know when she hits a certain line, that's Mariah Carey. Let's go even deeper. Tina Marie, very unique sound. You know what I mean?
Right. Hmm.
What do you think yours is? What's gonna be your signature calling card for people to say, you know what? I know who that is. That's Zoe. Woo
Um,
woo.
maybe my low tone.
Okay, okay.
I really, I'm not sure. Like, in my songs though, I do like a little, like a little bit of hums in
Okay.
every song. So maybe could be that, could be that. I don't know.
What what
Uh,
what has been the most challenging part for you right now?
I feel like getting my music heard is more challenging. Like getting it out there more is very difficult. Marketing is also very difficult. It may, yeah, it's. I feel like that part is just mainly the part that sticks right now is trying to get it out there to more people and get it heard to more people and get it out there, to for more producers to hear, more writers to hear. I don't just like any group of people. It's really hard to get my music heard out there. So I'm trying to. Right now, we're working on getting it heard and getting it out there more.
You live in a great generation. I wish I can. Well, I don't know. People say they wish they can turn back the hands of time. I wish I was born in you guys' era. I mean, because you can touch a button and communicate with the world. You can send
Hmm.
a song and it can go viral all over the world. This is definitely meets George Jetson, futuristic, music and entertainment era.
Right.
With that said, why do you think it's so hard to get your music heard? Because, like I said, you can click a button in on TikTok, and if the right person hears it, it's going viral. Why do you think it's now becoming difficult for artists, not just yourself, just in general? What's your take on it?
I feel because it is. It depends. I feel like some people have more of an audience and their sound also has more of an audience. Like if you have an upbeat song, people are gonna want to tune in and they're like, oh yeah, like I can make a dance to this or something like that. But for others, I guess it might not work that way. And some people just don't have that um the ways of the technology, if that makes sense. Like they don't have the experience with the technology to know how to get it to the right people or
Mm-hmm.
get it heard by the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, it could be by the click of a button, but I feel like if you're not, like, you have to have the right setup,
Right.
if that makes sense. You have to have the right buildup of that, if that makes sense. it's a little hard to explain, but I feel, yeah, you just have to have the right backing
you
up
got to
of it.
have all the pieces in place to really
Right.
make it go the way you want to go. What do you
Mhm.
like better? Do you know you this? What do you like better, writing or singing?
Both. Can I choose both?
No, 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 no. Even your
What
mom
I
said,
like better?
I can hear your mom in the background. She said, pick one. She goes singing. I can hear her all the way in there. Which one you like better?
I really, really, I love singing, but I would have to choose writing on this one
Really? Why is
because
that?
that's how I started. Like even before, like just writing, like I can't like explain it, but like I wouldn't be singing if I didn't start writing. I feel like writing was really my foundation to be like, okay, I want to take this and actually make something out of it,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. So it would have to be writing all the way for me.
Where do you see yourself? I know this is, you know, a hypothetical question, but you mentioned that you do like writing. That was the reason that everything else is manifesting. But
Hmm.
where do you see yourself um if the singing doesn't pan out, or you see yourself writing for other artists?
I do.
Who are some of the
I
artists you would
see
love to
that.
meet? Who are some of the artists you love to meet and work with if you had the opportunity to write for them?
If I had the opportunity, ooh, I have a couple actually. Her, I mentioned her before. She is one of my favorite singers. There's an he's more of a new artist coming out. His name is Jay Dawn. I would like to meet him and write, maybe possibly write for him as well. Um, ooh, yeah, those are all the people I can think about right now. But I know there's more. There's more.
You've been performing live. You just did a performance a couple weeks ago at the Jamaican. Uh,
Paradise.
yeah, yeah. You should be asking Dre, how do you know? What was that? What was that like for you?
It was different. It really was different, but it was enjoyable. Like, I was the youngest one there, so I thought that was funny, but it was very enjoyable. It was my first time performing with a live band, so that was different as well, but it was very enjoyable. I really loved the community. There was a bunch of different, older artists there who have been in the industry and actually, done some things. So I
Mhm.
thought that was really cool. And I'm just glad that they were able to hear, some of my music. And also I performed a cover. So,
Really?
that was also my first time performing a cover really out there. So I really did enjoy it.
What does that mean? I'm don't understand that. What does that mean? You performed the cover? It means you sung your album release or your EP release or whatever it's called.
I sung somebody else's song. So I sung what's it called? Killing Me Softly by the Fugees. So that was my first time performing somebody else's song. So I performed Killing Me Softly by the Fugees and then I performed my own song. So I did a little bit of both.
Okay, is your mom standing right next to you?
She is.
You better ask your mom who actually sung "Killing Me Softly" before the Fugees. Roberta Flack.
Yes.
Did she say
You want
yeah?
to come on in?
Did she say yeah? So how did that? What did you take away from that particular experience? Did the older the people that had the experience did they talk with you when it was all said and done, and what did they share with you?
I had a couple of people talk to me. I think they were really impressed. They were very, you know, I guess excited to see more younger people doing this per se. And I was really glad because, I guess there is a lot of younger people, but it's different. Like they said that um I kept the soul and I kept what they had before moving into this new generation. Music has changed so much, so it's really like different, I guess if that makes sense. But
Mm-hmm.
they were really impressed and yeah, I kept it going. Yeah, that's all. That's all really that they shared with me though,
Let's look
and
at let's look
let
at
me know.
this. Let's look at your young bio. Let's look at this bio for a minute. Music,
Hmm.
film, dance, fashion, 5-time winner, international runway. Did I get it right?
Hmm.
Okay, how the hell are you doing all this at 15 years old?
It's a great question, Ma. It's your turn to come in and go.
Where's she at? Where's she at? I don't like her being off camera. Tell her to come.
Yes,
Tell her to come
at
here.
this point, just come on in.
Just come
Come
on
on
in.
in.
Yeah, just tell her to come on in. How did all
Yeah.
this take? Hey, baby girl, look at her. So how did all this take?
Hello.
How did all this take place at 15 years old? This is a job resume.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just kind of go back a little bit. When Zoe was 2, we noticed she had a thing for dance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we put her in dance,
Okay.
and she did that for years. She loves to perform. So then I saw some opportunities, and I said, you know what, let's try modeling. And so she did. She modeled. She modeled for DC Fashion Week, and we got an opportunity when she was about 8 or 9. She went up to New York Fashion Week and she modeled there. So the designers and people that she worked with way back then love working with Zoe. And they had a great experience. So now, as she's getting older and they're still, you know, designing and doing all the runway shows, they
Mm-hmm.
think of Zoe and reach out to her and fly her, fly her to New York and fly her to Paris to model in Fashion Week.
Wow, that
And
is.
she is like, I don't, she's like the shortest model because, normally models have to be 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah.
Zoe's 5'1",
Wow.
but they love Zoe. And they put her in the shows and she gets out there and she does her thing. She's a hip hop dancer. So she has a lot of opportunities between Las Vegas and LA. She gets casted for different opportunities, like she was in DJ Mustard's video last summer. She just got casted for a movie.
What
She
movie?
just
Don't
finished
don't
a
leave us
movie
hanging. What
in
movie? What movie did she get cast for? Don't leave us
the
hanging like that.
the movie is called LAX 3. It's the director's Carl Jackson. He's out of LA. He's got some really hot projects on a burner, and I hope he
Really?
doesn't mind me talking about this, but he just bought like a studio in LA, and Carl's been making movies for a while, so we're honored. He wants Zoe to play his daughter in this movie. We can't really share too much about it,
Yeah.
because it's not set to release until next year, but they go on set this year. Last year, she got a small role in Las Vegas Traffic, a local movie here that actually got put into some film festivals and is doing well. So it's just,
Okay.
I would
Okay.
say if your kids are in casting and they start getting these
Yeah.
opportunities and you start meeting people, which we've met a ton, um, if you have a good reputation, people will remember you when they have projects, and that's pretty much how they think of Zoe. So they're always reaching out for something different for her to do. And it honestly, we're honored, that people think of her like this. I have a son, he's out right now being casted for a huge show here in Las Vegas. I can't talk about it because of the NDA, but um,
I already know about it. You know, I'm getting firsthand from Val, so I already know. But we'll keep it on the down low. How do you keep? How do you keep Zoe and your son grounded? I mean, because going in and out of these different opportunities, some kids can get starstruck. Some guys, some, you gotta protect your children. We saw what happened with the Harvey Weinstein's and the R. Kellys and all this kind of
yeah,
stuff. How do you keep your kids protected, but at the same time still invest in what they want? And more importantly, is it something that they want? Because I don't expect my kids to follow my footsteps. You know what I mean? They gonna have their own journey. How much of this is something that they want versus something that we as parents say you need to take this opportunity, and then the kids go along with it? Do you know where I'm going with this? So how do you keep them grounded
Yeah.
and know this is something that they want to do?
They tell me. I mean, I don't think we would even be here if um they didn't express that they wanted these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say that it's fun for them. This all started really with dancing. Both kids dance, my kids dance, and when they're huge hip hop dancers, I'll say that. And when you dance and you get around that environment, there's castings all the time for different things because dancers always say singers can't be great without us, right?
Yeah.
If you're performing, right? So it's always the dancers that give a little spice, a little interest to the show.
Mm-hmm.
The kids have pretty much been trained by choreographers that you see in like worldwide tours and things like that. So they've always had it in their mindset that, oh, it's sort of like their lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if they're in the lifestyle, to them, it seems natural. And so my husband and I often have to tell them, this is not a normal life. Like, I wasn't doing this
Yeah.
at,
Yeah.
12 and 15 and managing school and, oh, I'll see you guys later. I have a job, like, I have to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not a normal life. So we tell them that all the time. We keep them grounded in church. God is a big deal here.
Mm.
We tell them the reason you're getting opportunities is, yeah, I'm doing some legwork, but it's really God. Like he's really your agent. He's sending the people, he's sending the deals, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're just doing our part. And they kind of say, oh, yeah, I can see that. Gratitude. We teach them gratitude for everything, not to take anything for granted. You don't have to have this opportunity, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you got to be thankful for it. But on the industry side, my husband or myself, you're going to see us because we don't play that you're going to get next to our kids' stuff and try to do some slick things. That I could tell you some stories already.
Mm-hmm.
There's just this is a big industry, but it's really not. Like it's very small.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the same people all the time. If you're going for certain roles and certain things, um, the best I could tell you is as a parent of minors, you have to be around. You can't leave your kids on set. You can't leave them to a job and then you say, oh, I got a free break for 2 hours. Most times, if they're working for 2 hours, guess what? You are too, because you're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna have to be there with your own kids and kind of just be around for what they need. It's really a good balance between being a parent and being their manager and knowing when to switch on and off between the roles.
Zoe, I'm gonna ask you a question. Let's talk about peer pressure.
Ooh.
Let's talk about peer pressure. You got a lot going on with, your career. You got a lot going on with, family.
Mhm.
You're trying to create a pathway for you. What's the peer
Right.
pressure like for you?
It's I feel it's I haven't really been pressured into really anything, I guess. I do make sure I choose the right friends and choose the right surrounding groups. Um, but I guess it is different when I'm going into certain areas and certain places, especially doing what I do. There are older people, and they
Mhm.
don't know that I'm 15, and they're trying to do this and don't do that, and I'm like, no, like I'm 15. And I also remember that these are the things I want to do, and that I can't just be doing anything. And that's not a good I guess a way that I want to represent myself as well. So it's
How do you want to represent yourself? You are African American female.
mhm.
You're young. You're definitely have peer pressure on you to a degree because um, you're the future, and I know you want to lead by an example. How do you want to be recognized?
I want to be recognized as inspirational, very motivational, pushing, um, different as well, different, original, just certain things like that. So yeah, it is really kind of a touchy subject, but I just want to be portrayed differently. And I know that if I want to do this and that if this is something that I want to do, I can't just go in certain directions.
How do you feel you're being portrayed now with your generation?
Um, Portrayed is different. Like really, people don't understand um why I don't do what they do and why I'm able to resist and they aren't, if that makes sense. Some people have um I guess fallen into peer pressures and they look at me and they're like, well, why are you able to resist and I couldn't, and why it's different, but I really 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 like I stand strong that this is something I want to do and that I just can't do that. Like I really can't see myself doing like certain things, and it's really it's just difficult to talk about. It's
What do
I
you?
know so many people struggling and all that, so
What are some of the
but I'm
things?
able.
What are some of
uh,
the things that your generation is struggling with? I mean, I used to be a former school teacher. I have a daughter. I've seen the things that she went through and stuff. Like, what are some of the things that you're witnessing and stuff that still troubles you? You're still a teenager. Let's get real. You're not 18 years old. You're not 21. Your mom's still there. What are the things that you're
mhm.
struggling with that you see people struggling with?
um I feel like more now my generation really is growing up fast is all I can say. Like I can see that there are people younger than me that are doing things that I thought I would never, even, touch or do. And it's crazy. That's like it's really, really, really different. Like from that people from younger than 15, like 13, 12, 11, people are just it is so hard to, even like come across sometimes. But um drugs and, alcohol and smoking and all of that stuff and other stuff too, are still being carried. And peer pressure is happening in elementary school now. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Why do you think that's Why do you think that's the case right now with your generation? Why do you think? Do you think it's absence of the family, absence of values? What I mean, I know you guys talk. What do you think it is? I mean, it's all
Mhm.
over social media, but you got a better grasp on it than me. Like, what do you think it is?
I think it is, it could, like, for some households, it is, absence of family. I feel like it just depends on life situations because not everybody, has really that, everybody's going through something different. So, I guess for people to, cope, and it's just so many stories, I hear. So I'm not really as familiar,
Hmm.
because I know everybody has different stories as to, maybe why they're doing it or, some people on social media maybe shared why, but I feel like it is so many things come into play
Hmm.
as to why, somebody's doing, what they're doing.
How do you stay grounded?
God, God and my family. My family is always, always here to keep me in check. And I'm glad because, sometimes it gets hard. Sometimes you're like, maybe, well, maybe I should, maybe, this and that. And I'm just glad, that they have been here
Back up,
to
back up,
help
back
me
up,
stand
back
strong.
up, back up. You said sometime it is hard. That's where I'm going with this. Give
Hmm.
me a moment that this was hard. That maybe you might have said, you know what, I want to take a break. This is becoming overwhelming. You're 15 years old.
Hmm.
Give me a moment that did take place with you, because the reason I'm saying this is we're going to air this and you're going to be inspiring other people. I don't want people to think that every day you wake up that it's a walk in the park, because it's not a walk in
Right.
the park.
It's not at all,
So
not at all.
take me down a moment that walk in the park wasn't everything it was cracked up to be, that you said to yourself, I might need to take a little break here.
I don't really know as if I needed to break. There has been some times where I felt, you know, different and people's opinions really, really, really stick. So, there has been times where I've like felt like it was very, overwhelming and like that this isn't easy because a lot of people, social media is really, really tricky per se, and it really does catch people in the wrong way, if that makes sense. Like I don't wake up, most people just think, oh, you do this and you're this, and oh wow, well you're doing it, but it's not all that easy. Like they just say, oh well, somehow you're getting all these opportunities and you're just able to, I don't even know how, you're just doing it. And I'm like, well, yes, that's what it may seem, but it's really different, on the inside. And I wish people could realize that because it's really not, something that's just like easy to do every day. It really is um hard and, challenging and um yeah, it's, low key teary eyed, but it's okay.
No,
Legal.
I like that, because people need to understand. And you're right. We live in a day of social media, and when people see social media, they think your life is all that, because we only get so many seconds on social media to tell a complete day story.
Right.
Nobody knows what you went through that whole entire day. You're trying to create a career. You're a young girl. Yeah, you're gonna have emotional things that happen to you, but at the end of the day, you always gonna people gonna always see the good part and not say, well, how did she get there? What was those struggles that she had to go through to get there? Your
Right.
brother and you, how close are you guys?
We're very close.
Are you
Very,
gonna
very close.
do some projects together?
Maybe, maybe. Um, yes, I can't think of any projects that we will do at the moment, but we are always around. We are always together. We are always working. Like if I'm on set, he's always there, with my mom and dad. He's always supporting me and I'm always supporting him. He does do swim, so I'm always there at his meets and everything, always shouting. Ah, like,
Do
yeah,
you
we are very close.
do you
And
guys you mentioned that you guys are close, but closeness also means that he has to tell you the things that can hinder you. The sometimes I'd rather you tell me the things that I'm not good at so I can be better. Do you guys share those moments with each other? And if so, what's that like?
I think there has been a point where we have. I can't really remember, I'm pretty sure there's been times where we have done that. It doesn't hurt, I guess to say, but it is really humbling
Hmm.
and very yeah, it's very humbling, but um we're always trying to help each other evolve. And especially, seeing each other grow up and always being with each other, we're always there for each other. We're always,
So
lifting each other up and always um
so you
if
guys are,
something's not right.
yeah, you guys are basically each other's fan base, the one-on-one
Yeah.
fan base. Before we wrap up, let's talk about your new release. Tell me a little bit how that came about. What created the inspiration for the song, the whole 9 yards?
So for a line, that one really, it's my favorite song that I've released so far. So it really talks about being connected with who I am, really figuring out, is this who I want to be? Is this who I am? So many distractions in the world, but I know who I am. It's really talking about knowing yourself and really continuing to grow. This song, it really sticks with me a lot. I feel like I really took some time to write this one out, and I always do with my songs, but this one stuck with me a lot. So yeah, it's mainly what it talks about.
Before we wrap up, there's two things we got to do. How can viewers reach out to you, support you, and follow your career?
Oh, yes. So you guys can follow me at Zoe Johnson Music on all platforms. And I am on all streaming platforms as well as Zoe Johnson.
Now, we're gonna wrap up with give me a little bit of that line. You got to give me some acapella. Let's hear a little bit. Let's hear a little bit of this song. Whenever you're ready, go for it.
All right, I might need to get a little bit of water going.
I'm excited.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, I'm prepping. Okay. All right. I've been reminiscing, thought about the times I've had. It was always in my consciousness. When I start to look around, I realize the life I have. It was always something I've been longing for. Started running down the road of greatness and never look back at the past. Not spending time but taking control. It's an interesting feeling, but I'm taking a hold of my life 'cause I am in line with myself. I'm steady connecting the pieces of my life. I put the two pieces together and they align. I believe that's a sign.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode. Zoe, thank you so much for taking time out to come on the show and share such a beautiful story. Make sure you guys support, click her button. Let's support each other. All it takes is one click of a button to change somebody's life or to change yours. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show.